All right, go ahead, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. Hey, Shalom, Israel. This is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started out on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. It's the Tuesday Brotherhood class where we get into the scriptures, and what we talk about is brotherhood and sisterhood and how to make our families grow and how to better communicate with one another. That's what the class is going to be on today. It's about communication. This is one of the biggest problems that we are having right now when it comes down to a people. When it comes down to the 12 tribes of Israel, one of our biggest things that we have a problem with is communication. See, a lot of arguments start because we don't know how to communicate with one another properly. When a situation is going on, we have to learn how to talk to one another, how to come to one another and be like, you know what, this offended me. You know, these things I didn't like that you did. Like that wasn't cool. Instead of, hey, little bit or a little hoe ass nigga, you know, everybody's so quick to jump down each other's throat to try to get your point across. See, when we try to do those things, we'll never communicate properly with one another. We'll never be able to hear one another because everything that's happening is based off of what? Your pride at that point. I'm angry and I'm upset. So what I'm going to do after that, because I'm angry and upset, I'm going to make you angry. I'm going to make you upset. I'm going to make you feel the pain that I felt or the anger that I felt or the offense that I felt when you did this to me. So now we're just having a tit for tat game. Now everything that we're doing right now, it's not about gaining one another. It's about offending one another now. You offended me, so I got to offend you. You said something I didn't like, so I'm going to say something you don't like. You telling me what I'm doing wrong, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to negate everything that you're saying, and I'm going to tell you what I feel like you doing wrong, and that's never going to help us grow. We have to learn how to communicate properly. We have to learn how to take in and listen when someone's bringing something. And at the same time, if you're the person that's bringing the offense, if you're the person that's talking about your frustrations, you have to make sure that you're talking in a manner that you will want to be talked to yourself. Because if you're talking to me crazy, but yet you wouldn't want to be talked to crazy, then you're not following the scriptures. We're supposed to treat others as we would want to be treated, right? We're supposed to love one another, right? The whole reason why we're having a conversation is to what? Gain a brother or a sister, right? How can I gain you if I'm talking to you crazy about something that you did that offended me? There's no way to do that. So today's class is just going to be about how we can communicate with each other better, how we can have better conversations. Maybe this might help brothers talk to other brothers, or sisters talk to sisters, or if a sister got to talk to a brother about a situation, this is how you can bring it to him. Or if a brother got to talk to a sister about a situation, hey sis, I didn't like this, or even in your marriages, these things can help you because these things has helped me in my marriages. So let's drop that. Let's go to James 1:19. We're gonna start off at James chapter 1, verse 19. And that's all we're gonna do today. Today is like anytime we have a brotherhood class, it's just about that brotherhood and sisterhood. See, we have enough division in the world that we living in. When it comes down to the 12 tribes of Israel, we shouldn't be divided. We should be together. Go ahead and read once you got it.
This is the book of James, chapter 1, verse 19. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath.
Okay, so right here, where it says, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear. Why should we be swift to hear?
To listen, because you'll be able to find out what's going on. You hear your brother.
You be able to hear what the matter. See, a lot of times when someone is bringing something to you, our first thing to do is what?
I
ain't trying to hear that. What's the first thing we do if you are on the, I don't even want to give you the answer, but if I'm bringing something to you that you did to me, if I'm bringing an offense to you, what's the first thing that we do as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians?
Oh, you jump on the defense.
You jump on the defense because now I feel like, what? Hey man, what you got going on? You bring it, man. You gotta be swift to hear. Now I'm gonna tell you now. For some people, that's very hard. You want to know why it's very hard? Because they don't feel like they do anything wrong. So for you to bring something to them or them having to be corrected on something and they feel like they don't never do nothing wrong, they're not swift to hear. They're going to close their ears off or they're going to have selective hearing. Because at that point in time, what are they trying to do? Find something to be defensive about. So that way it's no longer on them, they can switch it on you. But with proper communication, you got to be swift to hear. And what else did it say? Slow to what?
Slow to speak.
You got to be slow to speak. See, this is something when I first got into the truth, I'm not ashamed to say it. I had this problem. I used to get checked by Captain Yatazak all the time. And all the 5,000s when I first got into the truth. I used to get checked by Captain Kahan about it. Because when somebody used to say something to me, I was quick to have a rebuttal. I wasn't swift to hear. I was quick to have a rebuttal. Hey, brother, you should have did it. Man, what you mean? I did this and this. What are you talking about? Brother, you done? All right, brother, this is what I was trying to say. What I was trying to say is next time it'll be quicker and easier for you if you grab this first or if you take those items over there and then sweep up and do all that. Oh, okay, I appreciate it, man. Hey, you know what, Salakia? But see, that was the problem. The problem was I wasn't swift to hear. I was swift to speak. So I could never really hear a matter out fully because I was so defensive all the time. And that's what we are as a people. The 12 tribes of Israel, we are very defensive. And we have to learn how not to be so defensive when people are bringing something to us. We got to be swift to hear, slow to speak. And it also says to be what? Slow to what?
Slow to wrath.
Slow to wrath. We got to learn how to control our emotions. See, a lot of people they don't control their emotions. They run off of their emotions. You know, they say it all the time that women are emotional creatures. What do? They run off of their emotions. If the sun is shining too hard, or if the wind blows too hard, then their emotions can go left or right. Craziest thing is some brothers are the same way. And as a people, what we have to learn how to do is we have to learn to control our emotions. We may feel a certain type of way, especially when we are communicating with one another and somebody is saying something that you may not like. You may feel like you did not do anything. But see, if you were slow to anger, slow to getting into your feelings and emotions, you may be able to just see where they're coming from. And those type of things help, because now it's not a defense match, because I'm not communicating with you for us to end up being in a courtroom having an arguing match based off of, oh, I'm pleading my case and you pleading your case. Nah, I'm talking to you. I'm telling you that there's something that you've done that I did not like. Something that you did offended me. So let's just have a conversation about it. Or you may feel like I need to be better at these things. So let's just have a conversation. You put your emotions to the side. I'm going to put my emotions to the side. You going to get a chance to speak. I'm going to get a chance to speak. While you speaking, I'm not going to interrupt you. While I'm speaking, don't interrupt me. Let's make sure that we keep the emotions out of it, though. Let's just have a conversation as brothers, or as brothers and sisters, or as sisters and sisters, or as a marriage. Let's be able to communicate with each other better. Because when we don't be slow to speak, when we're not, now the biggest problem is this. When we're quick to rebuttal, the Bible has, the Bible speaks about that too. Go to Proverbs 18 and 13. We're going to go to Proverbs chapter 18, verse 13.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 13.
Mm-hmm.
He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him.
He that does what?
Answereth a matter before he heareth it,
It is what?
it is folly and shame unto him.
Do you know what folly is?
Foolishness.
A lack of good sense, foolishness. So if you answer without really hearing the matter, what are you bringing to the conversation now?
Confusion.
Confusion and foolishness, because you really don't even know what's really going on. So now a matter that could have been solved just like that, now it has to prolong, because now you're answering without knowing the full matter. Now they're rebuttaling to the answer that you just gave, and now y'all not even on the matter no more. Y'all on something totally different. We can't do that as a people. We got to learn how to communicate and hear each other out, so that way we're not bringing foolishness into a conversation. There's no reason for us to bring a lack of, what did it say? A lack of good sense? That's the definition of folly, foolishness, or a lack of good sense. We should be a sensible people, right? All the communication that we have should be good communication. Because go to Ephesians 4 and 29. So we already know, based off of James 1 and 19, it says, wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. The reason why we got to be swift to hear and slow to speak is so that way we don't do what Proverbs 18 and 13 said. We don't need to bring foolishness into a conversation. Because like Proverbs 18 and 13 said, he that answers a matter before he hears it, it is folly and shame unto him. Shame unto them that does not want to hear the matter. Because now you're bringing nothing but confusion in the midst. And there shouldn't be any confusion when we're having a conversation. You should be able to say how you feel and understand that while we're having a conversation, we should both be kind to one another. If you want somebody to hear you out, you got to give them something to hear. You can't give them something that's going to make them shut their ears off as soon as you speak. You got it, brother? 29.
This is the book of Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 29. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth,
Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth,
but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers.
understand this. The reason why we have to be more mindful of what we say, how we say it when we're talking to one another is because what we don't want to do is corrupt each other. See, if you come with a listening ear, but everything that I do is yeah, 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 yelling and pointing the finger and screaming, cussing you out, belittling you, what is that going to do to the conversation?
It's gonna corrupt it. It's gonna make it worse.
It's going to make it worse. Why is it going to make it worse?
Because you're using harsh speech, harsh words the whole time, and you basically project it.
The only thing I'm doing is sitting here yelling at you. I'm belittling you, thinking that we're going to be able to have a conversation. We're not going to be able to have a conversation because now what? You are offended. I'm bringing the offense to you, but because of how I'm bringing the offense to you, now you're offended and now you're not listening. So where do we go from there? How do we solve or how do we come up to a resolution when that's how we going about things?
Counsel.
You're gonna end up in the council for sure. But the whole point of the matter is this: we should be able to talk to one another as brothers and sisters without having to go to a council. We should be able to talk to one another and be kind without it always having to go to a council. Because what that shows the generals is if I can never talk to a brother or a sister without being in the council, what does that show? What does that show if I say I love my brothers and my sisters, but I can't never talk to none of them without ending up in the council? What does that show? What does that say about me?
You're emotional, and you don't really love them.
How can I love you if we always in the council every single day or every single time that I talk to you? How's that love? Because what does the Bible say? It says to do what? Treat others as you would want to be treated. If I'm treating you like doo-doo, is that how I want to be treated? No. So I shouldn't treat you like that. And this is why we got to make sure that there's no corrupt communication. There's no reason for us to talk to each other foul. There's no reason for us to not be able to communicate properly. We have to learn how to get the emotions out of the conversation so that way we can actually get down to the brass tacks of things. Because let me tell you, demons are in the midst of confusion. See, a demon waits for his opportunity. As soon as someone says something that offends the other person, now who's in the conversation? It's that demon. It's that pride. That division is there now because you didn't say something to me, or what you said to me offended me. What you said to me hurt me. And before I sit here and talk to you correctly and talk to you like how I want to be taught, now I'm talking to you because now you piss me off. That's not how we're supposed to be with one another. So let no corrupt communication come out of your mouth. So that way, what did it say? Read that last part for me. It says,
but that which is good to use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers.
But that which is good to use of edifying. When you're edifying somebody, what are you doing?
Lift them up.
If they're saying, I'm giving you this for edification.
Teach.
So if I'm edifying you, what am I trying to do in that point?
Trying to teach me.
And the definition of edifying is providing moral or intellectual instruction.
Yeah, you teach me.
Educating.
Yeah.
So at that point, I have to speak to you in a certain way so that way I can educate you on something that I didn't like or something that I want you to know. That's just like being a parent. If you are a parent, if like I'm a father, if I want my children to understand that I want them running through the house, especially if we just mop the floors, I can't just yell and scream and be like, hey, don't run around. I gotta be like, hey, y'all come here. Come here. Look, y'all see that floor right there? That floor is wet. And if you go running on that wet floor and hurt yourself, I don't want you to hurt yourself because at that point, you're going to be crying and I'm going to be upset because my child is now hurt. You want me to be sad because you're hurt? What is a child going to say naturally?
No.
They're going to be like, no. So what do you think that they heard better? Do you think that they heard the first person that's just yelling saying, don't run on my floor while it's wet? Or do you think they heard the person that's saying, you know what? I don't want you to do this because look at this floor. And if you run on this floor, you're going to hurt yourself. And that's going to hurt me because now you're hurt. They're going to go for the second one all day. That's just like in a marriage. If you are a sister and you're talking to your husband about something, maybe you want him to help you clean the house a little bit better. You telling him, I'm sick and tired of you because you don't never help me clean. You don't never do this, that, and that. You think he gonna listen to that? You think he's going to hear you? I'm gonna tell you straight up and down. As a man, shut them ears off real quick. Cause now you just sound like you nagging. But if you would come to your husband like, you know what, hey, Salaka, sir, if I could, all right, so, I'm trying to make sure that we keep the house straight because these things is going on. I'm trying to make sure that if you help me, by cleaning up the living room and, taking trash, then that makes it easier for me to help you with the kids and making sure that I can wash these dishes and make sure that I can also cook. If I got to do everything by myself, then it's going to take a longer time for me to cook. And I know you want something to eat. What you think your husband going to do? He going to be like, you know what? Okay. I'm tired from work, but you know what? You trying to make sure we all have food and all that. You know what? Let me just help you real quick. What you need help with? Your man he's more eager to hear you when you come a certain type of way to him. You can't come with a nagging, yelling spirit and think that your husband's going to listen to you. As a husband, I'm gonna tell you now, there's times that we feel like we done said the same thing over and over and over again, so we get annoyed. But see, we got to also understand that we're dealing with somebody that is a weaker vessel. So there's times that we're going to have to repeat ourselves. But as we having to repeat ourselves for them to be educated on what you need and what you expect in your household, you have to be able to communicate. Let no corrupt communication come out of your mouth. And I'm going to tell you now, as a husband and as a father, I had to learn, even as a brother, as a priest, I had to learn to not let corrupt communication come out of my mouth. Just because you did something that upset me, I cannot sit here and fly off the handle at you. I had to learn how to dial it back and be like, you know what? All right. Look, I've already spoken to you about this. I already told you if we're going to have a conversation, there ain't going to be no yelling, no cussing. You ain't going to call me out my name. If you want to talk, let's talk. That was the same thing that I had to learn because I used to yell. I used to sit here, and if somebody said something to me that I didn't like, I'm ready to fight. I had to learn how not to be emotional and watch what I said when I was in my anger. I had to watch what I said because it's not going to fix anything. That's like me being, I'm a brother. If I'm and I'm an officer of 5,000. If I'm talking to a brother that's of 500, and I'm like, God damn, why the hell every time I tell you to do something, you can even do what the hell I'm telling you to do? I just said, go grab that and go put it over there. Do you think that there's a better way to communicate with one another so that way we get the best results? Because when I'm communicating with you, I'm trying to get something done. I'm trying to make sure that we are moving forward, not backwards. So as brothers and sisters, we have to learn how to communicate with one another. So that way we can, what? Like the Bible said, edifying. And at the end of it, what else did it say?
that it may minister grace unto the hearers.
That it may minister grace unto the hearers. That way you can educate them and they also be able to what? Digest it. And you also are giving grace unto them because that's what you want as well, right? Go to Proverbs 15 and 2. We're gonna go to Proverbs 15 and 2.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 15, verse 2. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright.
The tongue of the what?
Of the wise useth knowledge aright.
Keep going.
But the mouth of the fool, it's like fools, poureth out foolishness.
The mouth of the fools poureth out foolishness. So the wise do what?
Useth knowledge aright.
Useth knowledge right. See, if you're a wise man, like the generals and the captains and the men above me that's taught us and taught me, see, those wise men, they've taught us, you know what, there's a way to speak. Now, I don't know about y'all. I don't know. Have y'all ever heard Commander General YAHANNA yell and scream at somebody to get something done? Have y'all heard General Muhammad yell and scream at somebody and check them so harshly about getting something done? Because I've done shamar for the generals. And every time I see the generals, you know what they do? They show me that I have to be a better brother. Anytime they need something, they be like, hey, Salaki, if I could, do y'all have any strong? If y'all do, Baba Kashal, could y'all have somebody bring something up for me, please? Hey, brother, hey, Salaki, if I could, brother, do you mind grabbing this bag for me real quick? I gotta go grab something real quick. Can you grab it for me? Everything that they've done, they're showing that they have knowledge. They're showing that they know what it is to be a big brother or a father or an uncle to those that don't have knowledge. They're not talking to you crazy. They're talking to you like you are a human being. They're talking to you like you are my brother. And why would I offend my brother when I'm just asking him to do something for me? Or if I'm telling you this is what you should do? Don't sit here and be like the fools. Understand this: the tongue of the wise uses knowledge outright. You have to know that the things that you know, the knowledge of this truth, following the laws, statutes, and commandments, following them to the T, you have to use this aright. Because you know what the scriptures say about treating one another. You know what the scriptures say about loving one another. You know what the scriptures say about not being a lion roaring in your house. You don't have to do that all the time. You know what the scriptures say about letting corrupt communication come out of your mouth. So if you know all these precepts and you know all these scriptures, brothers and sisters, it's time for us to use them and put them to work. Don't pick and choose when you want to follow the Lord or not. Follow him every second of every day. You have to choose him. Because during situations like communication with one another, see, it's easy to choose yourself. It's easy to choose what you feel like doing. But understand, when you're choosing your pride and your emotions and how you're feeling about a matter instead of doing what the scriptures say do, you're just like the foolish. Go to Proverbs 15:4.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 15, verse 4. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit.
Perverse is showing a deliberate or a stained desire to behave in a way that is unreasonable or unacceptable, often in spite of a consequence. It says that you're gonna do what? What was the last part of that?
Is a breach in the spirit.
But perverseness,
Okay.
acting in a way that's unreasonable, unacceptable, therein is a breach in the spirit. All this is about our communication with one another. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life. Knowing how to talk to one another, knowing how to uplift one another, knowing how to educate one another, knowing how to give each other encouragement, and talking to each other about problems, or talking to each other to get a common goal done and achieved, is a tree of life. But see, acting like somebody that's unreasonable, talking in a way that's unacceptable, all these things does what? What did it say? It said that it is a breach in the spirit. As brothers and sisters, as husbands and wives, as parents, we have to always check ourselves to not be a breach in the spirit. We have to keep checking ourselves daily. Keep checking our demons daily, so that way we don't become a breach in the spirit. Don't be a reason why don't be a reason why a demon's able to come in between you and another brother, or you and another, or a sister. Or even as your children get older. Because at the end of the day, we know what's going to happen when your kids get older. They start smelling themselves. They dealing with the teenage hormones and all that. And most of the time, that's when they decide to push away. We as parents and we as family have to train up our children so that way when they get older and they get to that point, they know that it's still a safe space to come and talk to you. Yes, I'm going to still be your parent. I'm still going to tell you what you can and cannot do. But you know what? The doors of my room is always open. There's nothing that we can, like, there's nothing that we're not going to be able to talk about. I don't care how small or how big or how uncomfortable the conversation has to be. As a parent, I'm going to have a open door policy for that. Because I don't ever want you to feel like you got to go through anything in this world alone without us having this type of conversation. You shouldn't feel like everything you got to do is by yourself. The stuff that you're going through, you feel like I might not understand because you're in high school and I'm a grown adult. We have to learn how to communicate with each other properly. Don't let division come. Division easily comes when people don't know how to talk to each other correctly. Because now, if you don't know how to talk to me, what I'm going to do? I'm going to push you away. I'm going to be like, hey, I don't want nothing to do with this person at all. They don't know how to talk. They don't know how to communicate. They just not a good person to be around. So instead of me sitting here dealing with that, I'm good. I'm not going to even sit here and deal with it. But we can't be that way. Let's drop there. Let's go to Colossians 4 and 6. Just let me know whenever you got it.
This is the book of Colossians, chapter 4, verse 6. Let your speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt, that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man.
It said, let your what? Let your speech be always with what?
With grace.
In season with salt. What is that saying?
Use discernment when speaking.
It's what I've been saying this whole entire time. You got to know how to talk to one another. Because I'm going to let you know, a lot of pride gets in the way when we having conversations with one another. I'm being honest with you. A lot of times, pride comes in the way of a conversation. And we can't allow those things to happen. So when we speak with one another, we have to what? Let our speech be always with grace, seasoned with salt. We have to know, we have to have discernment on the things that we're going to speak on. It says that ye may know how ye ought to answer every man. You have to use discernment. Because when you don't, this is what you end up doing. Go to Proverbs 18 and 19. When you don't let your speech be with grace, then you start offending one another. And then when you offend one another, what does the Bible say about somebody being offended?
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 18, verse 19. A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city.
A brother offended is harder to be won than a strong city. See, you got to understand this. When you offend someone, it's like talking to a brick wall. It's like talking to a 20-foot brick wall that's reinforced with steel. And matter of fact, keep reading. What else did it say?
In their countenance, it's like in their contention, are like the bars of a castle.
It's like being, it's like offending someone is like trying to break out of jail. I ain't talking about the one in Louisiana. I'm talking about going to being locked up in Fort Knox, or being locked up in a prison that is full with 360 security cameras, everything reinforced steel and concrete and brick, and your jail cell, the door is a safe with a lock on it. Trying to get through to someone that you've offended is like you being in that type of environment trying to get out of it. It's gonna be too hard for you to get out of it, because at the end of the day, it's so many different layers you got to peel back and break through now. That's why we have to be mindful of what we say and how we say it. Because a brother that is offended is like talking to a fortified fortress that is locked down. Keep reading.
Verse 20. A man's belly shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth, and with the increase of his lips shall he be fulfilled.
Read that last part for me. Verse 21. Read verse 21 for me.
Verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue.
Death and life is what?
Are in the power of the tongue.
So when you're talking about communicating with one another, right? If you don't communicate properly with one another, what can end up happening? You can either what? Live or die based off of those things, right? Okay. Your relationship with one another can either grow or it can what? Diminish. We have to watch how we speak to one another, because death or life is in the tongue. We already saw what it said up here in Proverbs 15:4, where it says a wholesome tongue is a tree of life. If I'm trying to get through to you, I cannot talk to you in a certain type of way that I feel like it. Because at the end of the day, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to get through to you. So I have to speak in a way that is just like Ephesians 4:29, where it says, but that which is good to use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. I can't let no corrupt communication come out of my mouth, because corrupt communication is going to bring death into the conversation. It's going to make it where we are divided. Why do you think Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians have unalived each other for so long? Why do you think that there are so many divorces in this world that we live in, especially in the 12 tribes of Israel? Why do you think relationships don't last long no more? Because we don't know how to speak. We don't know how to talk through situations. We don't know how to get counsel when we need counsel. We don't know how to prefer one another when things get hard. And that's what we have to change. We have to change that cycle. We have to learn to prefer one another even when things is difficult. Even when I don't care to be around you, I still have to prefer you. Even though you made me mad, I have to still prefer you. I have to talk to you. I have to talk it out. We got to deal with this situation, because the longer that I don't deal with this situation with you, the more confusion and the more division comes. Go ahead, read that again for me. Hey, Lord Christ, I'm teaching. What's going on? Come.
Verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof.
Verse 21.
Death and life are in the power of the tongue,
Keep reading.
and they that love it shall eat the fruit of shall eat the fruit thereof.
What kind of fruit are you trying to eat? I don't know nobody that wants bad fruit. I don't know nobody that wants to eat moldy apples or anything like that, right? You don't want to eat the grape that's smushed down and got a little hair on it. You want something that's fresh. You want something that's a little bit past ripe, right? See, we got to understand that the fruit we bear is based off of what comes out of our mouth. If we don't know how to talk to one another, we're not going to bear good fruit. The conversation is not going to go well. The conversation is going to end in that argument. What we are trying to do is bear good fruit, which means that we have to talk to each other correctly. We have to have a conversation where, yet again, we're like James 1. We got to be swift to hear one another and slow to speak and slow to wrath. So that way, those type of things don't interrupt the conversation that we're trying to have. We can't get nowhere if we're arguing about something totally different. We can't get anywhere if we're no longer talking about the subject matter. We're talking about how you said it to me. I told you, hey, brother, I need you to make sure that we get this cleaned up so that way we can have everything done. Oh, you didn't like how I said it, and now I'm telling you what I told you, and that's an order. Follow my order how I told you. Now, at that point, what? Now it's going to be contention between us because you don't like how I said it. I don't care that you didn't like how I said it. I said get it done. And because I done talk to you in a way that's offensive to you, now you're no longer really hearing me. And now you're offended. So what we got to do after that? What scripture we got to go to after that? Go ahead, pull the scripture. Matthew's 15 and 18. Well, Matthew's 18 and 15. It's like it.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone.
If my brother offends me, see, we're talking about communication. If we having a situation and I offend you, you are supposed to bring your offense to me. If I gave you an order, brother, if I give you an order and my order come off very harsh and rude and you get offended, what you are supposed to do is complete the order and then come back to me and be like, hey, Slaka, sir, hey, I got the order completed, but I need to holler at you real quick. Can we go talk over here real quick? Hey, Slaka, sir, you know, the way you said that to me, I ain't really appreciate that. Like I don't feel like you had to, talk to me in the demanding tone that you did. Like I could get this done without you having to say it like that. Now I don't understand. I don't know what you got going on. I don't know what kind of pressure you have on your back, but Salakia, I'm just saying, you ain't have to come at me like that. I got your order done. We good and we straight, but I'm just letting you know how you came at me offended me. See, that type of communication right there, it leaves no room for me to sit here and be like, oh, brother, you just acting emotional. You acting like this and that and that. It's like, okay, the brother just brought something to me. And not only did he bring it to me, he brought it to me in a way that, you know, was edifying for me to hear him. Okay, I'm hearing you out. You feel like I don't have to talk to you like that. Okay. You know what, brother? Salakia. But you do know it goes other ways, right? And what does the scripture say? If the brother does what? If the brother hears you,
if he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother.
see, if you communicate with one another and the brother hears you and be like, you know what, brother? Hey, Salakia, I ain't mean to offend you, brother. I'm just trying to get this stuff done because they've been on my back about this and y'all haven't done what I've been asking y'all to do. Then you have gained one another. But what happens if he like, man, I don't care about nothing that you talking about. Then what should happen next?
Verse 16, but if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of two or three witnesses every word may be established.
If he does not hear you, then at that point, you're supposed to take him to counsel. You're supposed to talk. You're supposed to be like, hey, Salakia, I didn't like how you said that. Hey, brother, I don't care if you don't like how I said it. I said how I did. Kind of said, no sweat. Hey, Shalom, Cap. Yeah. Shalom, camp leader. Hey, Salakia, I need to take this brother to counsel. I brought an offense to him and he did not hear me out. And right now, me and him, we not seeing eye to eye. This same thing goes in any situation. If it's sisters talking to each other, even in households, you have to learn how to communicate with each other. If you are offended, you need to bring your offense to whoever offended you. You don't have to hold on to your offense just because you feel like this person's over you. You don't have to do that. Because at the end of the day, you follow what the scriptures say. Christ told you to do what? Bring it to them and them alone. If you are scared to bring your offense to the person that offended you, then you're not following Christ. You're not following the Most High. Because the Most High has his words. He has and set forth the law, statutes, and commandments and told you exactly what you're supposed to do. Christ said, if you are offended, take it to them and them alone. If they hear you, you gain the brother. If they don't, take them to counsel. And if you go to the counsel and that person still doesn't want to hear the counsel, then you take him to a major. So you take him in front of the church. See, you set that up with the generals. Like, Salakia, sir, he's still not hearing them. And if that brother don't want to hear what the generals have to say after that, then what happens to him? Yaqubah, read the last scripture. It says, if he doesn't hear you, take him to where? If he doesn't hear the church, what happens?
And if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as a heathen man and a publican.
Understand this. Nobody is above counsel. Nobody is above getting correction. If he does not want to hear the counsel, if he does not want to hear the major counsel, then at that point, he knows it all. He don't need nothing. So you know what? Hey, brother, I don't know why you even here. You don't want to listen to none of the rules. You don't want to follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. So you know what, brother? Go on about your way. Go ahead, do things how you feel like doing it because you right. You know what it is. You got it. You got it all figured out. But when it comes down to communicating with each other properly, that's not how it's supposed to go. Let's drop that. Let's go to Hebrews 13 and 16. Yeah.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, verse 16. But to go, it's like it, but to be good and communicate. Forget not, for with such sacrifice, God is pleased.
It says to do well. It says do good and do what?
And communicate. And to communicate.
Uh-huh.
Forget not.
Make sure that we are doing good and communicating. Forget not. Because with such sacrifice, God is well pleased. That's what we have to learn how to do. We have to do good and communicate with one another. Because at the end of the day, let's go to Luke 6 and 31.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 6, verse 31. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise.
And as ye would do to men, should do it says, as ye would that men should do to them also, right? Treat each other as you would want to be treated. When it comes down to communication, communicate with each other the same way that you would want to be communicated. If I want to sit here and be communicated good, I can't sit here and talk to you crazy. If I would want somebody to come to me, be like, hey, brother, this is something that you did. I need to make sure that this doesn't happen no more. If that's how I want to be talked to, I'm not going to talk to you like, hey, nigga, go ahead and go do what I told you to do. I can't sit here and do that. I got to treat you with love because I would want love. I got to treat you with grace because I would want grace. Our biggest problems is this. When we are in the moment, we don't think about these type of things. We don't sit here and think about, okay, because I'm upset in this moment, all right, I still need to talk to them and give them grace in this moment because this is how I would want to be talked to. We don't think about that. We just feel like I need to get my point across, right? We have to always check ourselves because the time that you feel like you don't have to check yourself and you can say it how you want to say it and do whatever you feel like doing, at that time, that's when you'll get in trouble. That's when things are not going to go good. Treat others as you would want to be treated. Let's see. Go to Proverbs 25 and 28.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 25, verse 28. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls.
See, brothers and sisters, if you get to the point where you're so emotional that you can no longer control your spirit, especially brothers, if you get so emotional and so out of the spirit that you don't know how to control yourself, especially when it comes down to talking to one another and dealing with each other, then you're like a city broken down with no walls. Even in the hardest times, we have to learn to communicate with each other. We have to learn to prefer one another and do the things the correct way. Let no corrupt communication. Be swift to hear and slow to speak. Preferring one another to gain a brother or gain a sister and not letting division come in between us. That's what we have to do. That's what we have to continue learning how to do and perfect it. So that way our Father will be happy with us. Our Father will be proud of us. And with that, I'm going to say Amajim, which means to stand. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers, then to the sisters. Men of Israel, Majim Shabbat, Majim, Barak, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah Brakatah, Yak Yamatah, Sar, which means to face the sisters. Men of Israel, Majim Shabbat, Majim, Barak, Yahweh Shemal Atam Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, Yak Yamatah, dismiss.